Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Shake Sales. My name is Sujan Patel. I'm the founder and CEO of Mailshake. Today I've got Cory Bray, co-founder of CoachCRM, and we're going to dig into coaching. Cory, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me.
Before we jump in, and can you give us a brief intro on your background?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in sales and sales management for more than 15 years. And what I've found is that there's a lot of random acts of sales and random acts of sales management. So I made it my life to help structure a lot of that randomness into things that are easy to learn, easy to do, and easy to coach. So that's high level. Written a bunch of books, 8 books out right now, 2 more coming, and just love helping people up their game so they can execute inside their companies.
Love it. I think one of the things I notice with sales managers and like sales leaders is like they've climbed the ladder and they are good. They've gotten better, but they're not teachers, educators, coaches. They're managers. I think the transition from like being good, getting people to be good, to like excellence and training, right, is a very big jump. Clearly, you've done that with all the books that you've written in your practice and whatnot. So let's jump into it. So, my biggest, I think most people are like, I need coaching. Okay, I'm bought in. I will do this. Where do I start? How do you figure out where to start?
The first place to start is diagnosis. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong, because if you diagnose the wrong thing, you're either coaching something that doesn't matter, or you're coaching something that's a symptom and not a root cause. So the real beginning point is, what is the highest impact opportunity that I can coach this person on? And what that requires is knowing where to look, knowing what to look for, and being able to ask yourself, is this really the thing that I should coach them on? Or is this just a breadcrumb on the trail to that bigger item that might actually move the needle the most?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. So problem, not offshoots of the problem that's downstream, and then the biggest levers or biggest opportunities, right?
Yeah, because we can all listen to a recorded call and nitpick. You can listen to anybody's recorded call and find 3, 4, 5, 10 things to coach them on. But is that really going to move the needle on something, as opposed to, instead of starting with things like call, start with the metrics and say, okay, well, this person's conversion rate from stage to stage is too low, or their stage duration's too long, or their win rate's too low, whatever it is. But you can't coach outcomes. You can only coach things people can control, and people can only control their quality of activity and quantity of activity. So the key is to be able to narrow in on what is the most impactful thing to coach, leveraging the metrics, leveraging call CRMs, conversations with people, their calendars to inspect their time management, all those different things, and say, okay, well, for this individual, here's the number one thing that I'm going to coach them on. It's probably going to be different for different people on the team.
Love it. So now let's talk about so you diagnose the problems and you're starting to work with them on the reps or the team on the improvements and the opportunity. I find another pain point or failure point is, okay, you told them all this information. They bought in on it. Now what? Like, how do you get them to do it, be consistent, actually, implement it?
Yeah, well, a lot of times the trick is that if you tell them the thing, they don't buy into it. That's the trick. And so when it comes to coaching, what we espouse is using the Socratic method, ask a lot of questions. And the cool thing is it mirrors great discovery. So you're asking a lot of questions to help them self-realize the problem. You're asking questions to help them come up with a solution. So if they come up with a solution, they have more ownership over it. Probably come up with a better solution than you did, because it's their life. They live it all day, every day. You're just a player in it from the periphery. And if it's not a good solution, then you can help adjust it and tweak that action plan that they're going to take in order to resolve it. So the best coaching conversations are a lot like the best discovery calls: lower talk time, higher rates of questions, where the manager is sitting there acting as a guide, being well informed on the front end from what they diagnosed, but helping that person self-realize a problem and come up with an action plan.
Okay. So most people are doing it backwards, right? They're like, okay, we've dug in. Here's like the 4 things you need to improve.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you're just telling me what to do.
Yeah, you're doing it backwards because it's easy, because you know more than them. Because the manager and a lot of sales management, a lot of times the manager knows more stuff. And if you know more stuff, you're in a position to tell people what to do. And if you tell people what to do, your rate of buy-in is questionable.
Gotcha. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, it's like that one simple turn it around and ask questions to get them to like, you're really just poking at driving them to the problem, driving them to
Yeah.
the water instead of giving them the water, right? Um, which we all know from everywhere else in life that works way better, right? Why?
Yeah. Guess what? It
uh,
works better here too.
yeah. Who would have thought, right? So, okay. So you got them bought in. They're doing it. How do you check in? What's the like follow up process or, I'm assuming, okay, first couple weeks, you figure out what the problems are. Next couple weeks, you get them to the solutions, things that they want to improve. What happens month 2 and onwards?
Well, yeah, I think that the duration really depends on the scope of the challenge. And so it could be something that's an easy tweak that could be fixed that day or the next day, or it might be something that's bigger, especially if you're coaching managers or you're coaching directors. That thing's going to probably drag on a little bit longer because they're high performing in the little stuff and you're working on something big. Whereas if you're focused on somebody junior, somebody new to the company, it might be a quicker tweak. So the key is coming out of a coaching conversation to have defined accountability. So what are they going to do? When are they going to do it? And it might be if you're coaching them on, they're not asking good pain questions. Well, send me 2 snippets of a call. Give me the timestamp of when you ask a good pain question. Show me you did it, for example. Or maybe it might be a time management challenge. And so, hey, get your calendar set up for next week and then flip me a screenshot of it when you're ready. I mean, that's something that could take 2 hours and it's done. Whereas if you're talking about having somebody improve their interview strategy, if they're a manager, for example, well, that's something that might take weeks to really get dialed in because it's more complex and there's not the opportunity to do it every single day. So making sure there's a defined timeline and a specific action that they're going to take to show that they took that plan that you created together and brought it to life, that's key.
Love it. Love it. And I think the being aware of what size the problem is and being a variable on the timeline versus rigid is very important, right?
Yeah. And then the last piece is that I didn't mention is it a mindset challenge or a skill set challenge? Because those are addressed differently. You can't tell somebody to change your mindset.
Let's dig into that. So let me ask you a point blank question. Can you actually fix a mindset problem?
Yes.
At the senior level, or is it on more of an individual contributor level?
You can fix it anywhere. And the framework I fall back on is, and it comes from cognitive behavioral therapy, where there's this continuum. It's called the results continuum. Mm-hmm. It's where somebody takes an action, they see a result that impacts their mindset. And then that leads them to make a decision to take an action where they see a result that impacts their mindset. So it's this big continuum that goes around in a circle. And the only way you can actually impact change is for them to take an action, see that result, and impact their mindset. They have to actually see it happen. Mm-hmm. They have to see it work. They have to see that asking for next steps is not pushy. They have to see that disqualifying a prospect and focus on something else is going to drive better pipeline over time, but they have to actually do it. And so the key with a mindset challenge is get them through the coaching conversation, through asking questions, to recognize that there is a problem, to commit to take some kind of action over time horizon. Maybe that's a couple of days, maybe it's a week, whatever it is, to take an action that will lead them to see results. That's how you change a mindset.
Love it. Love it. So you're you're addressing the mindset problem with like, okay, take this one small action, pretty much guaranteed results because it's a mindset shift. And if they see the results, then they would be open to changing their mind on that.
Yeah, totally. And set them up for success. I mean, give them enough opportunities to, if their mindset is cold calling doesn't work, don't tell them to make five cold calls and see if it works, because that's not going to be enough at bats. If their mindset is that, people are going to push back if you ask for next steps. I mean, you ask 5 times, 4 times, you're probably going to say yes. So yeah, if you've done your job during the previous part of the meeting. So that's the key, is size it correctly. And then I think the other piece is always start with skill set when you're inspecting a coaching opportunity. So can they do it? Have we seen them do it? And if you've seen them do it and they can do it, then it's not a skill set challenge. It's probably a mindset challenge. Yeah.
So okay. So that's a great, I want to end with this, digging into the skill set. So you start with like skill set, and then you would determine if it is a mindset thing and adjust course at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if it's skill set, then And skill set has varying degrees. I know we're going deep in this 15 minutes. I love it. I told you we could go deep. Let's go. So we can have, can they do it? Can they do it well? Can they do it well under pressure? Those are 3 levels of skill set. And you might not have to do it well under pressure in a transactional S&B role where you get 5 at bats a day. But if you've got 3 named accounts that you cover as a strategic A, you dang well better be able to do it well under pressure. Otherwise, you're going to put zeros up on the board.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like it. I think this framework is really around finding the real big problems in your process, even in the business of what you're selling. Letting the person who needs coaching come up with the problem set and let them see what the issues are, walking them through that. And then the last part is around skill set, mindset, and again, setting them up for success if it's a mindset problem, right?
Yeah.
I love this. This is obviously like this is something you do professionally. This is something that like we could talk for 15 minutes, but you need 15 hours, right? You need a lot of time. But hopefully this gives everyone a perspective of a different way to coach. I think this is a good way. If I were, I'm the CEO, if someone were to coach me and they told me what to do, my immediate answer would be F you. Like, I'm not going to tell, I started a company, so no one has to tell me what to do. Obviously I'm not that naive, but, or ignorant. I will actually probably do some of those things, but I might do 2 of the 5 versus if you tell me and walk me through the problem and I'm like, oh shit, this is a problem. I might knock them all out like in a week, so it just kind of depends on the motivation. So I love it. Cory, where can people go to learn more? I know you've got your sales management podcast that we'll link in the show notes, but yeah.
Yeah. Check out Sales Management Podcast. Find me on LinkedIn, Cory Bray, CoryBray. And if you flip me an email, free stuff at CoachCRM.com, I'll send you a copy of our book, The 5 Secrets of a Sales Coach, that digs into this framework that we talked a little bit about today.
Love it. Thanks again, Cory. We knocked this out in 12 minutes, and I think we've dug deeper than that I think people can take action on.
I love it. Well, everybody enjoy. It works if you do it. It doesn't work if you don't do it. Just like anything else.
Thanks again, dude.
Thanks.